Hey, kia orana, and welcome to another episode of Big Life Mindset. Tools and strategies to help you live a life you love, so you love life more. My name is Eddie Rakanui, and this podcast was in the top 10% most shared worldwide on Spotify. Man, it has been a minute since I last did a podcast. I can't even recall what the last episode was about. But I have been up to a lot. I wanted to use this as an opportunity to kind of quickly share what I've been doing. But the key thing out of all of this is that my goals are manifesting right in front of me. That's the main thing that's been happening. My goals have been manifesting right in front of me. An example of this is I've published a book called How to Meetings, How to Host Meetings That Achieve Your Goals. That was a goal that I'd had on my radar. In fact, I've got a goal to publish 2 books before the end of this year, and the other one is now in the copy editing phase. I've done a lot more hitchhiking since I last shared a podcast episode, and during one of those hitchhiking journeys, I had been picked up by Robbie Allen, and he helped me tick a bucket list item, and got me to Raglan. There's a really long story in amongst all of that, but something that came out of that journey and catching up with him is that he and I are going to be hosting a car show with a difference on Sunday, November the 17th from 12 p.m. till 3 p.m. in Melville, Hamilton. If I can get my act sorted, I'll put a link to that in the episode notes as well. So that's been super cool, obviously. I've realized in the last month or two that I have a superpower, and that superpower is I've got a real knack for accumulating lifelong friends. It's got a buzzy gift to have. It's unintentional, but I just love people, and just one thing keeps leading to another, and I find that I'm building. I don't even have the words to describe it, but me and lifelong friends is a thing. So that's pretty cool. What else has been taking place? I've had a number of corporate clients come forward into my sphere, and the opportunities that are coming from that have been really cool as well. I'm finding myself being booked 6 months in advance now, which is spectacular. It gives a lot of surety about what I'm going to be doing, where I'm going to be, that kind of thing. But I've stayed really strong and steadfast on a principle of mine, as many of you know, is that I deprioritized money a long time ago, and the universe just keeps letting it follow me. It is a peculiar trait indeed. I deprioritized the money, I prioritized experiences, and what can I say? The universe keeps providing, and I'm all for it. I'm definitely all for it. Debbie and I finally, not just Debbie and I, my family and I finally got the funding that we needed to build a house in Rarotonga in the Cook Islands. And so a day, 2 days away, I'm just kind of doing the final bit of paperwork to push go, and then the build will start. 22 weeks later, a modified shipping container will be sent from Australia to the Cook Islands, and it will be placed on the ancestral land of my family on my mum's side in Avachu, and that'll be another goal, and I mean a decades long goal come to fruition. Shucks, what else have I been up to? The family thing. I've been placing a huge amount of investment in quality time with my family. A couple of weeks ago, Debbie and I celebrated our 19-year wedding anniversary. pat ourselves on the back. It hasn't been easy, like everyone says, right? It hasn't been easy, but man, it's been worth it. We're living this life. I pinch myself. I have to pinch myself regularly just to say, what is going on here? How is it possible that I could be living this life that I'm so fortunate to have? Spending more time with the kids, spending more time with family, spending more time with my parents. My mum's away at the moment, but spending more time with my parents. All of these things are, I guess, symptomatic of that decision I made years ago, 7 years ago to be precise, and that was to take a strategic approach to living life. So when I took that strategic approach to living life, and I said, I'm going to design the life I want to live. And I identified all these characteristics of the kind of life that I wanted to live. And lo and behold, it's all coming together. It's all coming together. This month alone, I organised a reunion for my day ones in Melbourne. So I live in New Zealand. We're flying to Australia tomorrow morning for 5 days, where 6 of my day ones, will be there as well. And they're coming from parts of Aussie and New Zealand. And, a massive driver for me that I impressed on them was this could be the last time we ever see each other. That was just a brief pause moment there. I just had our 3-year-old bowling. Speaking of spending time with the kids, I just had my 3-year-old bowling. It's Halloween here. So I took the kids out to do Halloween, some trick-or-treating, and we've got a bowl of candy at the door, which obviously our kids are raiding as well. Anyway, so I pushed ahead with organising this kind of reunion for my day ones, in the knowledge that the next time we see each other, it will probably be at a funeral. And if that's the case, it'll probably be one of us that isn't there. So I nagged these guys. I can be really persistent and just an outright pain in the ass when I want to be. But look, it's happened, or it's happening. We fly out tomorrow, and that'll be an awesome. I can't tell you how much it means to me to know that I'm going to spend this time with some of my closest friends. Not all of them are going to be there. There's quite a few missing. There's a few that have really joined my life a bit later in life, guys like Andrew Duncan and Ali, and there's others out there. I'm not going to name everyone, but I've just been really, really fortunate to, as I say, gather lifelong friends. That'll take us to maybe the 5th or 6th of November, and then the following week I'll be flying up to Hamilton, and I'll be spending some time on the ground in preparation for an event that Robbie Allen and I are hosting, which is this car show with a bit of a difference, where I'm using this as a bit of a template for how I want to run events around New Zealand, Aotearoa, New Zealand, where I want to share the journey that I'm on and practical tools that I've used that help me to love life the way I do. I want to also use those events to interview, or at least have fireside conversations, a one-to-one fireside conversation with other people that I meet while I'm hitchhiking. Robbie's got a fascinating story, and if I haven't shared it already, he had 51 convictions by the time he was 32. He's 70 now. He turned his life around, stopped drinking alcohol, and then he built this multi-million-dollar trucking empire. That's all really cool, but I love the fact that he and I have this really deep relationship, all based off him and I meeting while hitchhiking. Him picking me up, really. Oh, actually, the joke is that I picked him up. That's another story. That's on the 17th, and then on the 27th of November, I will be the MC and a keynote speaker for an organization called WT Partnership. They've got a massive story to tell as well. They're an international company, and they have gone through what has been a really tough time economically. And they've been looking at ways of increasing, I guess, the levels of optimism within their people, within their staff. And I've been fortunate enough to help provide some insight on how you can structure an event to achieve certain goals. I won't dive too much into what we're doing there, but I'm really looking forward to sharing one of these tools, one of these concepts that has just completely revolutionized my life. And that is be uncomfortable and grow. Be uncomfortable and grow. If you've listened to maybe half a dozen episodes of my podcast, you will have picked up that I often finish off with that because of how wickedly powerful it is. Following that, I'm going to be spending some time, I mentioned those two guys, Andrew and Ali. Following that, at the end of the month, I'll be heading down to Queenstown and ticking off another bucket list item. Queenstown, if you're not familiar with it, is this tourist destination in New Zealand. Absolutely stunning. I've never been there, which is a bit of a head scratcher when, you know, we're hosting tourists or couch surfers and they say, wow, how beautiful is Queenstown? And I say, oh wow, tell me all about it, because I've never been. So we're going to go down there and just connect, you know, just stay connected. I love those two guys as well. I have so much love for those boys, all of them. And then a week after that, or less than a week after that, we will be taking our family over to Rarotonga and the Cook Islands. We're taking all the kids, and the purpose for that trip is that our eldest is going to be heavily involved in dancing. She's I would say an elite level dancer for her age. You know, the company that she's at won a world title last year, and they're aiming for another. But the flip side of that is that it takes a lot of time and effort and commitment from her and the parents in terms of fundraising and whatnot. And so we thought, actually it was Debbie that did this, power to Debbie. She said, let's do the family trip now, because if we don't do it now, it's unlikely we'll be able to do anything for at least a year. So there you go. So we'll be doing that for a couple of weeks. I can't wait. And then that'll take me up to Christmas and all the rest of the, you know, the carnage that goes on with Christmas. One last thing before I wrap up is I talk about deprioritizing money. So last week, on Tuesday, I had been umming and ahhing whether I was going to take my dad on a business trip up to Hamilton. I haven't spent a lot of time with my dad recently. He's been traveling overseas and he's getting on, aren't we all? And I thought, I need to get over this. What am I talking about? The reality is, I'm not going to remember those business trips. In 10 years' time, I'm not going to remember what I talked about at that business trip. But I will definitely remember the experience and the time I spent with my dad. So I took him with me. We did a roadie, and he got to see a lot of the places that I stop in while I'm hitchhiking. He disapproves of me hitchhiking, but it was just cool to be able to pull back the curtain a wee bit so he could see, oh, actually, he's just going to places that we would normally go to anyway. You know, just build up a little bit of confidence in it. He's never going to fully approve, but one thing I have learned about myself is that I don't really need other people's approval to live the life that I want to live. And we were fortunate enough, though, that, you know, we had a good weather. We did have our car breakdown. There's another story. But we also got to spend time with my auntie, his sister. I took him up to the Coromandel, which is just this postcard place where two of my friends live. Shout out to Jeremy and Jax and their families. And then I went, and then the following day I went and did the business thing. All in all, once again, focused on other things. Didn't just focus on the money. And the more I do that, man, the more things just keep working out in my favor. I should say our favor, actually. Awesome. I'm going to wrap it up there. Like I said, it's been a minute since I last did an episode. It's been on my mind for a long time, but I am glad that I put my toes back in the water. Loving life more is a muscle. there are certain things that anybody can do to help them to love life more. It could be as simple as taking a deep breath to slow things down around us and to help us make better quality decisions. Or it could be just reaching over behind our shoulder and patting ourselves on the back and saying, congratulations on surviving. Congratulations on making it through all of the things that we've had to endure. Because the reality is, not everybody makes it through those. Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me. I trust that this was of use and valuable. It definitely was for me. I will endeavor to be a bit more consistent with these episodes. But for now, ka kite, take care, look after yourself, do the things that are going to help you to love life more. All right. Peace out.